A chill wind chased through the evergreens, made them bend and scrape before the coming of the lone hunter that walked in their midst. The forest seemed to him half a temple, one built to honor some unremembered god. Above the sky was growing dark. He did not relish the thought of making the return journey back down the craggy face of the rock after nightfall. He did not relish the thought of making the return journey at all, not after he did what he had come to do. The villagers would not thank him for it, though he saved their children and their lives. Adaman picked his way up the slope with care, moving with the ease of long practice. He had been alone in the wilderness a long time, and was little stranger to such climbs. So much of these southern lands where the sun was cold was given over to such crags, to canyons, mountains, and ridges of black stone. He only wished he still had his Salva with him. She would have managed the slope with little difficulty, but the nameless horse he'd ridden more than 1,000 leagues out of Hakansa would have broken a leg for certain, had he not left her on the gentler slopes behind. He heard her nicker in the woods below, imagined that she tossed her head. Looking back, he could not see her. That was well. He did not want his quarry finding her, prayed they had not heard. He had not dared leave her in the village. After all, they were from the village, these men he'd come to kill. He'd cleared the trees as he reached the top of the ridge, for even the hardy firs of the Garanthi highlands would not grow in rock. There Adaman halted, surveying the world. All the earth, which the priests of the House of Morn called Roke, seemed unrolled beneath him, though the mountains of the Din Garanth rose all around, black pillars, snow-capped, holding up the sky. He had not climbed high enough to see the grand wall away to the west, thousands of miles away, nor could. But he could see over the broken lands through which he traveled. There was the river the villagers called the Green Bend, where it flowed down out of its highland vale and ran north to join the great river that ran all the way to the Sea of Rend. Away to the east, the land was a sheet of gnarled black stone, not the godstone of which the walls were made, but common basalt. There the lavas flowed freely, gleaming rivers of fire steaming where they met the southern snows. Adaman hardly saw them. His eye was drawn, as ever, to the eye, the god's eye. The red moon hung almost directly above him then, its great eye that the gods had fashioned on its face with stones vast as kingdoms peering down, forever unblinking. Seeing it filled Adaman with disquiet as ever it did, but there, almost on the edge of sight, was a thing that fanned a little black ember in his heart to flame. A ship. A black ship. Hey everyone, Christopher Ruocchio here of Sun Eater, and for the first time of something else. Now, if you listened to the intro, you've got a little bit of an idea, but on and off, I mentioned on this channel that I have secret projects I'm working on, sort of in the background, casually, as we're working, of course, on Book 7 of the Sun Eater, and this is one of them. I'm happy to report today that I have a new short story that is out there, and it is not a Sun Eater short story. I know for a long time now, a lot of you have been clamoring for me to get into the fantasy space, and I got invited by my friend Jean-Paul Garnier, who's editing for the newly revived Galaxy magazine. And Galaxy, if you don't know, was one of the great pulp magazines of science fiction past. In fantasy, of course, fantasy past. And I sat down to think about this, and he invited me to do a story for the relaunch of Galaxy. I sat down and thought, what would be the coolest thing that I could do to be part of this this revival, right? This going back to the magazine days of science fiction, and it occurred to me that the answer was obvious. The answer is to do a not Sun Eater thing. And so I jumped in and I wrote a fantasy story. That story is called The Barrow King, and it introduces a new world, a new universe, a new hero in Adaman of Newmore, and it is really a throwback to the classic sword and sorcery story. It's a little bit of Conan in its bones, a little bit of Solomon Kane, and I'm a big Robert E. Howard fan, and it's got a little bit of that to it. But of course, it's all me. It's got its own little twist on it, and I'm very excited about it. I'm planning on doing more with this universe into the future. There is another short story in this setting that is already complete. That'll be coming out actually before the end of this year, so stay tuned on that front. But it is absolutely free. This new issue of Galaxy is linked in the description down below at galaxysf.com. It is issue number 263, which is the first issue of this new relaunch. They're keeping the old numbering system, which I think is kind of cool. And you can read it now. It is absolutely free. A link is in the description down below. And I just hope you all will check out my first fantasy story and let me know what you think. I really hope that you all enjoy it. As many of you know, fantasy really is my first love. Right, I was a Tolkien kid, really before I was a science fiction kid. Star Wars movies notwithstanding, and so it's really exciting for me to be getting sort of over on that side of the aisle, so to speak. Of course, you know, Sun Eater is sort of right down the aisle, science fantasy, but this is definitely more in that fantasy camp, and I hope you all will enjoy it. If you read it, please do leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Very excited about all this. So I hope you are as well. And that about does it for this video. Keep it nice and simple. Did you read The Barrow King? What did you think? Leave it down in the comments below. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, farewell.